Hi there, welcome back to Healing Streams podcast. And if this is your very first time, welcome. This is Healing Streams podcast where we talk about faith, healing, discovery, identity, hope, and love. Today, we'll be talking about a very important topic. And before we talk about a very important topic, happy new month to everyone. It's the new month of September and it's the last quarter of the month. And we want to bless God for His protection, His guidance, for His faithfulness. It's been God all the way. I want to appreciate every of our listeners that has been with us since since August. And in this month, we are celebrating our sixth month having this ministry. I'll call it a ministry. It's not just a podcast to me. It's a ministry because it has blessed lives. I might not know the people that have been blessed through this podcast, but I know that this podcast has been a source of blessing to people, and I do not take the privilege for granted. I do not take the love being given from people for granted. Like, you people are the real MVP. I really want to appreciate you. Happy 6th month anniversary to us. Though it's not your time, but let's start celebrating now. Happy 6th month anniversary to every one of us. It's been God. We thank God for growth, for wisdom, for inspiration, for fellowship. We want to bless God. So let's just dive right into what we are talking about today. Today we are talking about vulnerability in the presence of God. Vulnerability in the presence of God. The misconception, I'll call it a misconception, that that you shouldn't be vulnerable in the presence of God. While listening to a clip by Pastor Lawrence Oyo, just like a short clip, and he was saying that you're doing that guy outside. You're doing I'm strong outside. In the presence of God too, you're still forming out guy. You don't need to form out guy, my dear brother and sister. In the presence of God, you can be vulnerable. In the presence of God, you can show your weakness. You can show how much, being I'm going to give us both the dictionary meaning and meaning by some writers. And being vulnerable to me is you being dependent on God. Being vulnerable is you being dependent on God. So I'm going to give us the dictionary meaning. The first one says, this is English dictionary, says it means to be open to disclosing one's inner thoughts and feelings, acting in spite of one's instinct of self-preservation. And according to Webster Dictionary, it means capable of being physically or emotionally wounded. And the synonyms of being vulnerable: to be vulnerable means to be helpless, to be defenseless, exposed, and susceptible. So I'm going to give a meaning given by Brené Brown. It says vulnerability. Now I'm looking at it from the perspective of a believer. Vulnerability is the best place of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. It's the source of hope, empathy, accountability, and authenticity. If we want greater clarity in our purpose or deeper, if we want greater clarity in our purpose or deeper and meaningful and more meaningful spiritual lives, vulnerability is the path. And this is just to show how important vulnerability is to God. See, like I said earlier, that you being vulnerable, it shows that you are totally and completely depending on God. You're like, God, I cannot do this on my own. God, I don't even know where to go. I am directionless. How will I do this thing? Look at Paul. It says that, yes, in 2 Corinthians 12, 8 and 9, and he was like, he prayed that I could take this sickness away. This is the only thing hindering me. And God said, nah, I'm not gonna do that. My grace is sufficient for you. And I can't remember the version that says, that Paul said, in that same, he said in verse 10, it says, I make my boast in my weakness because the power of God. It's just like a paraphrase is at work in me. Like, it shows that when you're coming to that place of vulnerability, you're not doing that guy. You're not doing that guy. It shows that you are not depending on your own strength. You're not depending on your own ability. You're not depending on your own knowledge. You're depending on him totally. You're just telling him that, Daddy, just take control. Just you can have it or have your way. Like, I am going, as long as you are right in front of me. Like this song, Jesus take the wheel. Like, just take the wheel. Just go ahead and take the wheel. And that is the kind of life God wants us to live. That we are not just dependent, we are not just independent, but we are dependent on Him. We do not lean on our own understanding. And trust me, when you are vulnerable in the presence of God, you encounter God's power. You encounter God's wisdom flowing on the inside of you, because you are going into His presence as a weak person, but you are coming out bold as a lion. You are coming out with ideas. You are going, this ministry God has given. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know the direction I'm going to do. I don't even know, Lord. You are the one that sent me. Yeah, I've come to you. I've come before you. And just lead me. Tell me. So in that clip that I watched, it said, see, where you come to is a place where you can share tears. It's a place where you can talk to God about the things you're going through, the things that hurt you in your heart. It's a place for you to be sincere. It's a place for you to tell God how you feel. Though you're not expressing yourself out of bitterness or out of unbelief or out of you murmuring against God and complaining, but you're just telling God that, Lord, Shola offended me. She hurt me so bad. And it's really pained me to the deepest part of my heart. Daddy, Lord, this person hurt me. Heal me. Help me to forgive this person. I'm hurt. And you keep going back. And you keep going back till it heals the wound completely. Till that wound is healed completely, rather. till that wound is healed completely. Or maybe you go to the presence of God so sad, and you're like, God, this is not what you told me. This is your promise for me, and it's not going this way. And God, the word of confidence, the word of hope just comes to you, and you leap for joy. You leap for joy. You know, one man that I know people, when you with people, if you really are following I've been following this podcast and been watching my YouTube. You know, I love this Bible character. I love this Bible character. David. Hi. Yeah. You know, it was from the character of David that I learned that being vulnerable means you're stripping yourself of every title that you hold. You are stripping yourself of everything that you are and everything that you have, and you are coming to the presence of God as his child. David was a man like that. Let's even start from when Saul was after his life. He will now go to the presence of God. All to the day. I want that to the day for those that don't understand Yoruba, meaning that they are here again. You're here again. And he will go to the presence of God and say, Lord, I cannot do this on my own. Lord, arise. Don't let these people mock me. Don't let them wonder, wait, who is my God? And he was so vulnerable. He was unapologetic about his love for God. He acknowledged God in everything that he held so dear. You know, we might have thought that, when it comes king, it's because he was not king then, that was why he was like that. But till the end, David acknowledged God. David was a vulnerable man. No wonder he was, I didn't know that this was the secret. No wonder he was a man after God's own heart. No wonder God loved him. God established an everlasting covenant with him because he went to the presence of God as a child. And now I don't want to waste our time by reading this passage, but looking through some part of Psalms, you will know that all of us in Kaolon, and it was by him being vulnerable. He was vulnerable, and it was just an expression of his love for God. That, Lord, you called me here. Lord, you are my Lord. Let these people know. Don't let them mock you. Don't let them ask that who is my God. Let them know. Take out time to go through the Psalms, and you will see how he was vulnerable. He was a vulnerable man, very vulnerable. Was a vulnerable man in the presence of God. And for you to receive strength from God, you need to be vulnerable. For you to experience the power of God in your life, in your business, your marriage, your ministry, your academics, your career, your anything, you need to be vulnerable with God. You need to be vulnerable with God. It is very important that you do not take that lightly. It is very important that you hold that dear. I would also love to say that worship is also a means of you being vulnerable. You expressing your love. You expressing your love. It just reminds me of this song that, like oil upon your feet, like wine for you to drink, like water from my heart, pour my love on you. Praise is like perfume, our life is mine on you, till every drop is gone. I'll pour my love on you. Pour your love on God. It's a place where you just, Lord, I love you. You are not saying that, Lord, I love you. I love you no matter what I'm going through. No matter what is going on around me, I love you. No matter what I am, what is right ahead of me, I know. See, God is a gentle God. He's a loving Father. And when you come to God with that vulnerability, He embraces you. He empowers you. And He will make perfect your weakness. He will perfect you even in your weakness. He will perfect you even in your weakness, rather. He will perfect you even in your weakness. And that's referring to 2 Corinthians 12:9-8-9, rather. And God will invade the deepest and the most important. He will invade you in the most important way when you're vulnerable with Him. And being vulnerable is not you can't be. See, one, I want you to understand that when you're in the presence of God, you cannot deceive yourself, neither can you deceive God. Because God is the Almighty. He knows all things. He sees all things. So when you're not forming that guy, they are forming, I know it all. When you're forming, there's nothing wrong with me. It's a place where you can, outside in presence of everybody, you'll be smiling. That's so powerful. But in the presence of God, and you tell God, Lord, I am not where I'm supposed to be. Lord, I'm not spending enough time in your presence. Help me, empower me. Help me to delight in your presence. And that's just one thing that we need to understand. Don't let us be carried away by, I want to be posh, I want to be prim and proper, I want to be calm, cool, calm and collected. In the presence of God, yes, you reference God, but it's a place. In that reference, in humility, you express yourself to Him. You express yourself to Him. When God told Jeremiah to go and tell Ezekiel, pack your load, put all that to your house, you are going soon. If you were saying, God, he went back to God in that vulnerable state. He didn't even care that he was king. He didn't care. He was vulnerable and like, God, don't forget the things that I have done. I've put all that. I've done this. All the things that the past kings have done to displease you. I've put all that to them. Don't forget. And it was vulnerable. It was not a king. It was Ezekiah, God's beloved. It was Ezekiah, God's creation. Don't let us be so. Don't let us see God as in a father that is not approachable. He is a father that is approachable, my dear brother and sister. He is a father that is approachable. Don't let us Don't allow the fear of rejection, the fear, or you're ashamed because of the things that you have done in the past, or grief or sadness, or don't feel that, when I come to the presence of God and I express myself to God, is going to judge me. God is not going to judge you when you come to the presence being vulnerable and in that vulnerable state. Instead, it's going to heal you. It's going to fill your heart with so much joy. It's going to renew your mind. It's going to embrace you. Nakotiati enikaya dabalakatiati. It's going to embrace you. It's going to heal you. And that is why I am here to tell you, be vulnerable in the presence of God. Lie, kneel in His presence, roll in His presence, cry in His presence, express your love to Him. He's not somebody that you have to, he's not human that you have to hold your feelings tight to your chest. No, He's a God that wants to see you expressed. He wants to see your heart. He wants to see you. And He wants to heal you at the same. Don't allow grief, sadness, your wrongdoings. Don't allow disappointments to push you away from the presence of God. Instead, delight in His presence. One thing have I seen, that I will dwell in the presence of God all the days of it. Should be a longing in our heart to dwell in His presence, to stay in His presence, being vulnerable, expressing ourselves to Him. Be vulnerable. If Abraham was not vulnerable, I don't think he would have walked with God the way He walked with Him. I don't think God would have revealed the things that He revealed to him. Even when He was telling that, God, you say you are going to do this. Oh yeah, it's Eliezer that will go inherit everything. And there was a part where God was saying that the promise is coming, and he laughed that God shall bless Ishmael. Say, I'll bless Ishmael. But that promise will be fulfilled, not minding your own belief. You need to see the presence of God is the place where we get answers. And if you don't go to the presence of God, the answer will not come and meet you. It will never come to meet you. Stay in the presence of God. Delight in His. Be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. And that's why in this one on our YouTube channel, we'll be going deep to Bible character. Like, we want to grow in our work with God. I want to see every one of us grow in our work with God, and that is why we are going in depth into these Bible characters. We are going to talk about them. We are going to talk about how their stories relate with ours, and how we can be better, how we can improve in our work with God, how we can heal, how we can love. And trust me, it's going to be an awesome time. So don't miss out. If you are thinking of missing out, don't think of it. Don't say, I don't have time. Yeah. And yeah, for you people that think that you don't have time to listen to our podcast, you can create time. Maybe going while you're going to work. It might be while you're even working at home. Just plug your ears and listen to this podcast. Listen to as many as you can during the time that you are opportune to. So this is not a barrier. It's not that you have to carry it, or you have to. Please take out time to listen to this podcast over and over again, and do well to share this podcast And please follow every of our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have amazing content. We have inspiring, impactful content on every of our social media platform. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification bell. Like J. Mikey will say, it doesn't bite. So please do well to subscribe, like, share, comment. I would love to have a conversation with you. And if you're not commenting or if you're not reaching out to me, there is no way I can help you. I would love to help you. I would love to listen to you, to hear from you. Please, Ebenimobe. It doesn't bite to click my WhatsApp link or to just comment for us to have interaction. And finally, before we end today's podcast, Happy New Month. And don't forget that in this world, begin to be vulnerable in God's presence. Don't allow anything to hold you down. Don't allow the fear of rejection. God does not reject anybody. Instead, his arms are wide open to accept us, to listen to, and his ears are enough to hear us. And so his hands are stretched forward to heal us, to empower us. So don't be scared to be vulnerable in his presence. Have a great weekend. Be blessed. Bye.